So can you give us some steps or processes in how we can go about discovering our shadow values in a kind of organic, natural way?
Yeah, fantastic. This is a process that is very, very simple, very, very easy to do, and everybody needs to know this stuff. First of all, I'm going to direct everyone to a resource. So if they go to www.authenticeducation.com.au, so that's authenticeducation.com.au, and click on free stuff, you can scroll down the bottom. There's a shadow values recording. That's a recording of my colleague Ben Harvey coaching a client through the process I'm about to explain to you now. It goes about an hour. I'm going to give you the process now in a couple of minutes. It's such a simple process, very powerful. But if you download that shadow values interview, you'll hear a human being just being totally free and letting go and just, it's just the most incredible interview. I thoroughly encourage everyone to watch it. But let's go through the process. So it's very simple to do. There's two processes I'm going to share with everyone today to find your shadow. You can either use one or the other. I prefer the first one, but I'm going to share the second one with you in case it resonates with you more. So there's only three questions you need to ask to find your shadow values. The first is, if you go back to a time, anytime you remember, even the last time you felt frustrated or angry. So if you just do it now in your own mind, whether you, Alexandra, or the listeners and the watchers, so just think of the last time you were frustrated or angry. It could be that you got cut off in traffic. It could be that someone was late for a meeting, or your partner didn't cook the dinner exactly as they were supposed to, or your kid said something that they shouldn't have, or just think about that frustration and time. Now go back to that time. This is the second part. So the first part is remember that time you were frustrated or angry. The second is go back to that time and identify what was missing for you. What were you not getting? So what was missing? What were you not getting in that moment? So for example, if you got cut off in traffic and you felt that frustration or anger come up, what was missing for you? Was it that it was you thought you weren't being respected? Was it thought that you thought there was danger, so you felt your safety was missing? Do you feel that person was like a hooligan who had no respect or didn't see you or whatever? And identify for you, not for them. You've got to remember this has got nothing to do with them. What was missing for you? And then the last question is which of the shadow values does that most relate to? So the shadow values that we've come up with again: attention, belonging, control, sexuality, superiority, validation, and money. So let's go through the cutting off. Or do you want to do one between you and I, or would you like me to give an example?
I would. Yeah, you can do an example.
Okay, so let's go to the cutting off of traffic. Everyone's being cut off on the freeway as we're driving, and when you feel that frustration or anger come up, the next question is, what am I missing? So let's just say for me, if I'm driving along and someone cuts me off, for me it would be not being seen or not having my space respected. So what respect is code for the shadow value of superiority.
Oh, really?
So
interesting.
What it means is basically I didn't feel as though that person who was driving the car that cut me off treated me with superiority. So therefore they thought they were more important than me, and I lost superiority in the moment. So that would imply that superiority is high on my shadow values.
Yeah,
Go.
I'll just do mine with that.
Yeah.
I would experience safety, lack of safety, lack of, well, the word actually comes up. It's lack of control.
Control, right, you nailed it.
Totally, it's right there.
Yeah, and this is where the language of the shadow is unfamiliar, and you'll hear on the interview, the download, you'll hear the Bianca, who's being coached through the process.
The one that you mentioned on Authentic Education.
Yes, the shadow values down. Yeah, Bianca's being coached by Ben Harvey, and she actually tries to suck the words back into her mouth after she said, "I like control," because we're not practiced at speaking in these terms.
Yes.
So we use
it's like outing ourselves, right?
Yes, you're exposing yourself. You're saying, my whole life I've been told it's not okay to want to control other people. And all of a sudden, You want me to admit it in public and risk being judged and all that?
Yes.
So we use code words. Respect is code word for superiority. But you said safety is code word for control. And if you look at other ones, like I've got them written down in my screen here, so attention, it would be even things like service or I just wanted to, and please don't take anything up, judge anything here, but if I'm volunteering, you got to look at what your shadow's getting out of the volunteer in you. And when you can nail that, because most people say, oh, I'm just giving of my time. Well, let me give you an example. The other day I was running through the national park here in Sydney, and there was a woman who obviously volunteering. She was pulling out weeds in the national park. It was a big area of weeds in the national park. And I ran past and I thought, what a fantastic thing. She's given up her Sunday. She's pulling out weeds. So I actually stopped and went over there. I said, this is great. So are you here volunteering? And straight away her language was, and again, there's no judgment around, this is the shadow at work.
Yeah.
She said, yeah, but I wish more people would appreciate what I do. And I thought, that's right there is shadow language. She was actually leading with, I'm pissed off because I haven't got the validation that I want.
Right. So that would be attention? No.
It would be attention and validation. Yeah. I wanted people
and probably
to
belonging too. Wouldn't volunteering be?
Yeah, the belonging is a big one for volunteering. But if you have a look through everything you do, you can find a shadow value in it. And then, so if you look at, do you do all the work at home? Do you overgive to people? Do you volunteer 50 different organizations? Are you always, the one who's organizing? If you're the organizer, then the shadow gets control out of that. If you're the one that's always giving advice, the shadow's getting superiority out of that. If you're the one that's always stepping up to speak up for others, then you're the one that likes getting the attention. And it's all good. If there's one thing I want everyone to take away from this is stop judging yourself and embrace this side of you and go and get more of it and then link it to your purpose and service.
Right. So, if there was an intentionality or a goal, let's say, with the conversation, it's that in the ownership, I think when it's almost like a leaky hose or something, when there's no alignment, so you own it and then you align it with the purpose-filled life. And then you deliver through some kind of, being committed to something bigger than yourself. And being committed to bigger yourself, it doesn't mean ending world hunger. It means it could be being the best mom. It could be being the best wife. It could be, it's what's right there for you. And then, so it all comes in alignment. Because I noticed when I've gotten into trouble is when it's grandiosity, which is I love what you said about shame and grandiosity, because I wrote that down. It's a great quote concept. But the grandiosity comes from, or confusion. I'm even speaking in a confusing way. Comes from that lack of alignment. That lack of ownership, and then tying it to a purpose-filled life. Because it's going to be present, as you said, anyway, right? It's always there in the shadow. So you end up controlling your dog first, or worse. Right. So it's channeling it. Was the word I was looking for. Channeling it into something. Channeling is a good word. The word that the psychoanalysts would use would be a container, or they would use the word microstructure. Microstructuralization is there's a big buzzword at the moment, but a container. So what you're saying is find a cause or a container to contain these values in, because the leaky hose is exactly right. If you don't find a container for your gold and all this energy, it's going to leak out and you'll find yourself striking out or controlling other people or partner or children or person you just met in the street because you haven't got the container. And the container could be an example of being the best partner you could be, being the best mother, starting that cause that you've been putting off, starting that community group or starting the blog or the website or whatever, to contain all of these values, link the values to it, and you'll be unstoppable. Buffett is a great example. Warren Buffett, if you've ever heard a man speak, like him or hate him, he says,
the reason I'm so successful is that I like to be right more than anyone else in this field.
Yeah.
So just nailed his superiority, and he's got no shame around it.
Yes. Yeah, I can think of some other, I can think of, not right now, but some other leaders who have said similar things. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just a question about the 7 shadow values.
Mm-hmm.
Could there be more or less?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. It could be more or less, and these are just a guide that we've found over the years that have consistently shown up and are the best framework for people to start in.
And what did Jung say? Did Jung define those 7, or how did?
This is actually a concept that Ben Harvey came up with at Authentic Education, that the shadow actually has a set of values. So this is a trademark thing at our organization, Authentic Education. So it's kind of the way that, it's something that Ben's come up with that's really helped people own their shadow.
Yeah, okay. Because otherwise it's just more shadow as a concept in the Jungian world versus the specificity of actually exactly what yours is and how that relates. Yeah, because
exactly.
I have seen that one of my highest values is transformation and coaching. But, when I really look at it, when I looked at it through this lens, it was, wow, I get to know a lot more about, being enlightened and human beings and what it takes to live an optimal life. And it was a lot about control and superiority. Yeah.
And that's perfect, because look at all the people who are benefiting from you owning your shadow value of superiority and control. And we need more people in the world who are shameless for the right reasons. And
that's right.
That's you right there are an example of, because your whole business, people are benefiting from it and the ripple effect of their families because you own this. If you kept them in the bag of shame, it's bad to want to control other people, and it's bad to want to be better than other people. That's what we were told growing up.
Yes.
And instead you found a way to link that to service, and congratulations.
Yeah. Oh, well, I just am so appreciative of your time today. I probably have about another 20 questions, but I know we don't have time for that today. I would love to invite you on again, because I just think there's going to be just a whole bag of questions that open up from this conversation. So we'd love to have you on for other interviews. It was amazing to be with you today. As you said, people, we will put on the screen authenticeducation.com. Go ahead, and it's .com.au, correct?
That's right. .au for Australia. Yes.
Yeah. And we will put that on the screen so people know where to go for that. And really, Rob, you're just an amazing, amazing human being that's contributing on such a deep level to so many people. So thank you for who you are in the world. Thank you, Alexandra. Thank you for giving my shadow some validation and superiority and attention. And all that. Awesome. Absolutely my pleasure. Thank you, everyone, for sticking around. Yeah, and again, go to Alexandra Joy TV. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we will be seeing you soon with more topics as fascinating as this was on shadow values and more. Thanks again for watching today.